Hello, I'm Roger Veer, CEO of MemoryDealers.com. Recently, I have noticed a lot of videos on YouTube where people are saying that Bitcoins are a scam, a Ponzi scheme, or otherwise a bad idea. I disagree, so I would like to invite those people to put their money where their mouth is. I'm willing to bet 10,000 US dollars, or equivalent in Bitcoins, that over the next 2 years, Bitcoins will not only outperform the stock market, gold, silver, and the US dollar, but Bitcoins will do it by more than 100 times. This means that I am willing to bet that if silver is up by 100% over the next 2 years, I think Bitcoin will be up by more than 10,000%. We can place our bet publicly on www.longbets.org, and the money will be donated to the charity of the winner's choice. If you really think that Bitcoins are such a bad idea, please contact me so we can make our bet public. I'm confident that Bitcoins will change the world, and I'm excited to be a part of that. Please leave your comments or suggestions in the comments below. Today is August 4th, 2011, and Bitcoins are about $10. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for our daily videos on everything going on in the cryptocurrency space. Don't you wish somebody would have came up to you 10 years ago and said, hey, you need to look into Bitcoin. You need to check it out. Don't you wish they would have shook your shoulders and said, hey, just look into it. Trust me, just look into it for a little bit. Hey, did you look into it? Are you accumulating Bitcoin? Did you even buy a Bitcoin yet? Do you even know what Bitcoin is? Could have been life-changing, right? Well, where is Bitcoin now? What happened to it? It crashed, right? It got pumped up, then it crashed, and now it's gone? Maybe. Did you know that since Bitcoin's creation, it has pumped and it has corrected, and it has pumped and it has corrected, and it has pumped and it has corrected countless times before, each time accumulating at a higher price point than before? You know the market goes in cycles, right? You know every market goes in cycles, and you know it's better to invest down here than it is to invest up here. Well, right now Bitcoin is down here. Maybe this will help you see it better. This is Bitcoin since 2011. You can see it pump and correct, and pump and correct, and pump, and now we're in a correction. You know, it's possible that one day we see a $50,000 Bitcoin. It's possible we see a $100,000 Bitcoin. It's even possible that one day we see a $1 million Bitcoin. But do you know why? What is Bitcoin? Do you even know? Do you even know what Bitcoin is? If you say Bitcoin is digital cash, then you don't know Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know what makes Bitcoin special, then how can you know what makes Bitcoin valuable? Let's break it down. Bitcoin is money for the entire planet that gives power back to the individual. Let's start off simple. There are certain characteristics that all money needs to possess to be successful. Now, anything that has been used for money since the dawn of man has had these traits that has allowed it to survive, and it's allowed it to thrive. Now, the higher an asset scores on these traits, the greater chance it has to be used and the greater chance it has to achieve longevity. Now, until this point in time, gold, or government-issued fiat currency, has scored the highest on all of these traits. But now, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the next level for us, and it has vastly superior traits than its predecessors. Check it out. Bitcoin is verifiable. That means it's impossible to counterfeit because it's verified with absolute mathematical certainty. Bitcoin is fungible. That means all Bitcoin is treated equally, so the $100 of Bitcoin that you own, it's not really any different from the $100 of Bitcoin that some guy in China owns. Your Bitcoin is treated equally. Bitcoin is portable. Bitcoin, in fact, it's the most portable store of value that man has ever used. A single USB can carry $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. It can be carried anywhere. It can be transacted near instantly. You can't do that with gold. Gold is hard to carry places. Fiat currency is portable. Yes, fiat is also digital currency. However, governments and third parties can control the flow of your fiat currency. We'll get to that later. Bitcoin is durable. Now, up until this point, gold has been the king of durability. Gold that was around 200 years ago, still around today. Gold that was around 500 years ago, still around today. And all this gold will probably continue to be around in the future. Now we have Bitcoin, on the other hand, which is only 10 years old. It's still in its infancy, so it really is too early to draw strong conclusions about its durability. However, it has the potential to have high durability. Think about it. Since anybody can run a node on the entire planet, it would seem the only way that you could kill this thing is if you could kill the internet. But keep in mind, the internet is just a means for which Bitcoin is transferred. If the internet were to die globally tomorrow, we'd still be able to trade Bitcoin via satellite. Bitcoin is divisible. So while fiat currency can be divided down to pocket change, and gold can be divided down to something between a gram and powder, Bitcoin can be divided down to 100 millionth of a Bitcoin, and it can be transferred as such. Bitcoin is scarce. Although gold is an element, which is also scarce, gold is not immune to increased supply. If there were ever a case where there's a new method of mining or acquiring gold where it became economically feasible, the supply of gold could drastically increase, Maybe we go deep diving for gold on the sea floor, or maybe we do asteroid mining. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has a fixed supply. Only 21 million Bitcoin will ever be created. Established history. Okay, this one we don't score too well on, but hey, Bitcoin is only 10 years old. It's a brand new asset class. And if you consider how far we've come in the last 10 years, increasing usership, increasing network effect, increasing price, we've come a long way. Consider this. The median age of a human is about 30 years old, which means Bitcoin has been around nearly 33.3% of the average human life. If Bitcoin exists for another 10 years, there will be near universal confidence that it will be available forever, much the same way that people believe the internet is a permanent fixture of the modern world. Now, at this point, you might be thinking to yourself, whoa, maybe cryptocurrency really is this brand new asset class. What if we're in the early days? What if this is 1994, the internet? I need to get involved. Wait a second. Bitcoin's price is already thousands of dollars. Well, hey, what about these other cryptocurrencies? What about these shiny new altcoins? They're cheaper. I hear they're faster. What about these? Well, what makes Bitcoin revolutionary isn't that it's fast or it's not because it's cheap. I can send fast, cheap money right now with Venmo. What makes Bitcoin game-changing, what makes Bitcoin valuable, is that it is censorship resistant, unconfiscatable, permissionless. See, when Bitcoins are transmitted on the Bitcoin network, there is no human intervention deciding whether or not the transaction should go through, which is unlike a lot of these altcoins. A lot of them have CEOs, a lot of them have offices, a lot of them have multiple points of failure. With Bitcoin, the government cannot shut it down because there is no single point of failure. Unforgeable costliness. Okay. And now, Bitcoin has made popular two more important traits of money: decentralization and programmability. So, decentralization, kind of already explained. Programmability. Bitcoin is open source. Its design is public. It's usable by anyone, anywhere, anytime. Developers can freely program applications on top of it, and they don't have to ask anybody for permission. So you can see that Bitcoin matches or surpasses gold and fiat in every category, and it needs to. For a species of money to survive, it needs to be competitive on every attribute and be exceptionally better on a few of them. Attributes don't sum, they multiply. When gold was first introduced, the bead makers, an example of a more primitive form of money, probably tried to convince the ignorant population that gold was no substitute for beads. But it turns out that gold had traits that were more advantageous, so it didn't matter what anybody thought. Gold was destined to be a more powerful currency than shells or beads. The fact that gold has remained a valuable commodity for thousands of years speaks to the importance of these specific traits. In fact, the combination of traits possessed by gold and other precious metals eventually provided the foundation for the next evolution in money, fiat currency. In money's next evolution of species, fiat currency fulfilled several critical traits to an even greater degree than gold. Paper is more portable and could be more easily transacted. That's not to say it was entirely superior. In many cases, fiat currencies lacked durability, and as we'll see, would eventually become less and less scarce due to inflation. The critical flaw is supply was controlled by kings and governments, increasingly used as a tool to wield power and control. It seems to me that everybody I know, they don't spend their Bitcoin. Everybody I know, they either hold it or they accumulate more, but they're not spending it. You know? How's this ever going to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system if nobody spends it? Doesn't that mean it's going to fail as money? Wrong. Every single type of money, whether we're talking about gold or fiat or beads or shells, they all follow the exact same evolution. Collectible, store of value, medium of exchange, then unit of account. So first, it starts off as a collectible. So it's accumulated by some, not based on monetary value, but because, it possesses certain characteristics that are valuable to the individual. Shells, beads, gold, all started off as collectibles before transitioning to the more familiar role of money. In Bitcoin's case, it was a collectible for nerds. Second, store of value. So once it is demanded by enough people, the money will be recognized as a means of keeping and storing value over time. So as Bitcoin becomes more widely recognized as a suitable store of value, its purchasing power will rise and correct and rise again, and it will keep rising and keep accumulating at a higher level until it becomes a means of exchange. So as the store of value is increasingly held and the influx of new people starts to slow down, the price increase will eventually plateau. And at that point, there's not going to be a lost opportunity when you spend it. You'll finally be able to use it as a means of everyday payment without risking, losing an investment for the future. Then the final step, after it starts off as a collectible, then a store of value, then a medium of exchange, the final step is that goods and services will now be priced in the new money. So right now, we are right here when it comes to the evolution for Bitcoin to become a money. So you can see at the very bottom is digital collectible, and right here is store of value. So we're somewhere in between digital collectible, almost store of value. Okay, $1 million question time. Here is the $1 million question. Is it actually possible that one day in our future, the normal will be Bitcoin is money? Because to me, what's normal is a green piece of paper with a dead president on it. To me, what's normal is what my government says is money. It's what I use. It's what I know. It's what I've always known and always used. Everybody I know has used it. Every generation that I've ever heard of has used government money. So, it's been around forever, right? Well, if you look into it, according to a study of 775 fiat currencies by dollardays.org, the average life expectancy of fiat currency is 27 years. The study also indicated the most common causes of any given currency's extinction are hyperinflation, monetary reform, war and independence, and looking towards the fittest of fiat currencies, those that became reserve currencies, we find that most last just under 100 years, and you can see the chart here. So the US dollar is a reserve currency, and that started in 1933 when it was taken off the gold standard. That means that the US dollar is 86 years old this year, and it's getting created and inflated more and more every year. Friends, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine if somebody told you back in 1994 that everything you see, I know it's clunky, but everything you see is here to stay. And not only that, it's going to improve, it's going to get better. And that we're in the early days, that we are early adopters, and over the next 5 years, this whole thing is going to explode. This is a brand new industry that will revolutionize the entire world that we live in for decades to come. What if somebody told you that in 1994? Would you act on it? If you're not already, give yourself permission to be a part of this. Use this video as a starting off point. This is the tip of the iceberg. A lot of people are going to make a lot of money over the next 5 to 10 years with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and there's really no reason why you can't be one of them. To stay up to date on everything going on with Bitcoin, everything going on with altcoins, everything going on with the whole cryptocurrency market, subscribe to our channel, be a part of our team. If you found value in this video and want to get this information out there to more people, hit the like button, share it with your friends, post it wherever,